Alright, hi YouTube. I'm coming on to do my birth story. And it's been exactly 4 weeks since I've given birth. The baby, she was born on January 1st, 2016. So technically, February 1st, she'll be 1 month, but it's been exactly 4 Fridays since I've given birth. So I figured I'd make time today to come on and do my birth story. It was very interesting, I'll say the least. I had an epidural. It was vaginal birth, and it didn't go that fast, but it was like not as bad as I thought it would be. So anyway, my labor actually started on December 29th. So I had prodromal labor, which is labor that comes and it like starts and stops and starts and stops. So December 29th, at like 2 a.m., I started having contractions, and baby's asleep right now. So I'm trying to make this as fast as possible. And then if she wakes up, we'll just include her in the video. So December 29th, I was having contractions at 2 a.m. all night, and I couldn't sleep. And I had an NST at 9 a.m. that morning. So I went to take a shower. It was like 8 o'clock in the morning when I had been up all night with contractions. And I ended up slipping and falling in the shower onto my back. And it freaked everybody here out. Even I was freaked out. And I ended up skipping the NST and going to labor and delivery. They monitored me at labor and delivery. It was the 29th, like I said, and my contractions were very irregular, but I was contracting. So what I felt that whole entire night had been contractions, and things were they the doctor on call at labor and delivery just said it could happen anytime, pretty much, and just to be on watch. It doesn't mean that labor is going to happen soon, just any day now. And so they discharged me because my contractions were so irregular, but they were very strong. So I was like, something doesn't feel right. But if I'm going to go home, I might as well go home and get some rest. Well, I went that afternoon on the 29th to pick up my pack and play from my OBGYN office. They give out pack and plays to first time moms. So I went to pick up my pack and play that day. That night into the 30th, that night, and it's with all contractions. I was contracting. I could not sleep. It was just uncomfortable, and the contraction started in my lower back, and they would stretch to my lower stomach. Baby was moving just fine. Baby was fine the whole time, even during delivery. Baby was just fine, but me, I was in so much pain, and it just got to the point where it became normal. So I'm like, oh, here comes a contraction, okay, and so here comes the contraction. But I'll say this: I had an appointment December 31st. Was my OB appointment, and I was 38 weeks that day. And so I went to my appointment on December 31st. It was at noon, but they didn't see me till 2. That's just how the office works. But the whole time I'm sitting inside of the doctor's office, I'm contracting, but they're like coming in, and they're so strong. They're much stronger than they had been on Tuesday. And so I thought, okay, I'm in a good place. I'll just tell the doctor. They'll check my cervix and see what to do next. Well, by the time I got back there to see the doctor, I told her about the contractions I'd been having inside the lobby, and she was just like, well, you're a first-time mom, and most first-time moms don't know when they're really in labor, so just watch it, and I'm not going to check you because I'm not going to check your cervix because that runs the risk of infection. And so what I'm going to do, because of your blood pressure, and remember I have preeclampsia, so it was a touch and go. So, the doctor had to watch that. So she said, because you're preeclampsia, I'm going to go ahead and schedule you for an induction on January 8th. And then medical student will call you back on, I forget, on Monday or Tuesday. And they'll give you hospital instructions because it had been a Friday and it was New Year's Eve and all that. But here she gave me a lab slip to do another 24-hour urine collection. And I was supposed to start that Sunday. So, yeah, I would have started that on the 2nd, right? No, started that on the 3rd. So, anyway, I got the lab slip. I went to go fill it, but it was New Year's Eve. Everything was closed. So, the lab was closed. I ended up going home, and I got home around 4 p.m., and I decided to pull out my phone and start timing the contractions. And I had, trust me when I say I had absolutely no idea how to time contractions, but I figured it out because I would start the timer as soon as I felt the pain, and then I'd stop the timer as soon as the pain eased up. And it's just like that's how contractions are. It's painful, 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 then eases. Then you have minutes of no pain, and then as soon as it started again, so I timed it on my phone, just using the stopwatch on your phone. It wasn't anything special, and I was getting contractions every 5 minutes, and they're lasting 1.5 minutes. So every 5 minutes, and for 1.5 minutes, I was having a contraction. And then I ended up being able to fall asleep at like 5-ish and woke up at 6. But my back, again, it was just all in my lower back. I couldn't, like, it just hurt. It was already hurting to walk because the baby's head was engaged. Remember, I had that worst pelvic pain in the world because the baby's head had been down, but that pain had been lasting since for weeks. So I was used to that. But the pressure in my back and in my stomach, that was new, and then I couldn't walk. And so I came down out to the living room, and I sat and started watching TV. So I was watching True Life, and around 7-ish, my sister called because both my sisters and I were with the kids. We're going to go to my older sister's house for the New Year's Eve party that she's throwing, and then we'll celebrate the New Year. I just was like, I can't move. I think something's wrong. They didn't check me at my appointment today. I told my sister, and I like something's just wrong. Something's off. And I was like, remember the fall, and something could be off and something could be wrong. So anyway, I started timing the contractions again, I believe. But then I told my dad what was happening. Like, the contractions are coming in. I can't move. I said, I can't move. I just can't move when they're happening. And so he said, get ready and I'll take you back to the hospital because I'd just been there on Tuesday and it was Thursday. So I packed my bag for some reason, whatever, and took a shower, had something to eat, and my dad drove me back to labor and delivery, and it was like 8:30 at night. It was really pretty outside because it had just been Christmas. I miss Christmas and I missed all the holidays too. But anyway, it was right before New Year's Day, where everyone takes out their lights, so all the lights were up. And as we're driving, I'm able to talk to my dad about, this is so pretty out here, and we're just chit chatting. But I'm contracting at the same time that we're driving to the hospital, and they were strong. So anyway, I get back to labor and delivery, and they had me lay in bed. They put the monitors on me, and absolutely no contractions were being picked up on the monitor. And they had me on the monitor for about 2 hours. So that's what it was. They had me on the monitor for about 2 hours. And finally, the doctor came in to see me, and she said, well, I'll do a cervical check, but at this point, we're just going to send you home because, you're not contracting. So they did the cervical check, and it was about 10:30-ish, and it was packed inside of the triage. I wasn't in labor and delivery. It's the triage labor and delivery. So it's where you go. They decide if they're going to send you to high risk, or they're going to high risk maternity ward, or they're going to send you to labor and delivery to deliver. So I was in the triage, and they checked me, and I was at 5 centimeters dilated and 100% effaced. And I think once you get over 4, they have to admit you. So I was admitted. It was 10:30, December 31st. So I had the best labor and delivery nurse ever. Her name was Jennifer, I believe, and she stayed with me the entire time. And we even took bets. We were hoping, because I was 5 centimeters, that I would have the baby before midnight, so make it a New Year's Eve baby. Or if I didn't have her before midnight, I'd have her at midnight and make her the first baby born in Sacramento County and all that. So it was actually fun. But no, she wasn't the first baby born. Okay, so like I was saying, we were taking bets, and she was not the first baby born December 31st. But I made it past midnight, which was surprising. My sister, her boyfriend, and my nieces and nephews came to visit me in the hospital in the labor and delivery room after midnight because they had been out celebrating. They figured they'd come see me. After they left, I was poked 15 times in my left hand and 15 times in my right hand trying to get an IV. My veins are so small that they roll and roll and roll and roll. And it took 2 technicians, anesthesiologists, to find veins to put in just my IV. It was like just annoying. And on top of them poking me like that, I was having contractions because I did not have the epidural. So I dealt with that pain, and it took about 45 minutes to find a vein. They had to pull out ultrasound machines, heating pads. Just it was painful. And the nurse was there the whole time, and she was actually very sweet about it. That's what was helping me like get through the contractions, because she's monitoring my contractions. She's like, "Do you feel that one?" Like, oh my gosh. And so, right before the anesthesiologist found my veins, he sat, the main guy sat and talked to me about my epidural. I was like in this state of mind where I was superwoman, and I wasn't going to get an epidural, and I was going to do this all by myself and blah, blah, blah. And so they all left. He said, "Call anytime. I'll be right back and we'll put in your epidural." About an hour and a half, 2 hours later, I could not take it. It was, let's see, midnight. It was about 2 or 3 a.m. and I just could not take the pain anymore. So I requested no, first I requested the fentanyl. Fentanyl, it's they put it inside your IV, and my IV got put in a very bad spot. It was in my hand right here. So my pinky, underneath my pinky finger, it was in a really bad spot. But I'm right-handed, so that was good. So yeah, anyway. I requested fentanyl because I did not want an epidural. But the nurse had me get up to go to the bathroom, and as I'm walking, I just feel like gushes of water. Gushing water. I get to the bathroom, blood's everywhere. And so she said my water had broken, and if your water breaks, they don't give you fentanyl. You do the epidural. So I said, fine, let's do the epidural. And I was so freaked out. Got the epidural. It was the best feeling in the world. I was in heaven. Please get the epidural. Please get the epidural. But anyway, I got the epidural. It was about 3 a.m. and no problems. I had a little controller where I could control how much, is pumping into me. And that was nice. And I was able to finally relax. No one was in the room with me. I started watching Pitbulls and Parolees on Animal Planet. I was in heaven. Like, oh, it took the edge off because I hadn't been sleeping. I hadn't slept in like 3 or 4 days. No, 3 days at that point because of the, back labor. All I'd been doing was napping. And so I was able to just like breathe through the contractions. I couldn't feel them anymore too. That was the best. And so I was checked at 4 a.m., like an hour after I got the epidural, and I had reached 9 centimeters. So I had gone from a 5 to a 9 within like 6 hours, right? So it's 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3. Oh, 5 hours. So 4 or 5 hours, I had gone from a 5 to a 9. So I started to, the nurse said it's time to push, I believe at 5 a.m. But I called my mom. Oh, they checked me at a 9. So I called my mom right away. That's what happened. I called my mom and said I'm at a 9. And my mom said she was going to come when I was at an 8. And I'd called her before midnight to say I was in labor. Ugh, there we go. So my mom and dad headed to the hospital, and they got there just in time. They got there like at 5:30ish. And at 6, they started having me push. Or it was like, as my parents got there, they started having me push. And so I was pushing, but I was like, not straining, but losing oxygen. So they put an oxygen mask on me, and I was able to do the oxygen mask. And then when I push, take it off and put it back on when you're done. And so I pushed that baby out for about 2 hours, I'd say. And at 7:11 a.m., Ashanti Vanessa was born. Her first name's Ashanti, and middle name's Vanessa. And I had her name picked out since July. I'm trying to catch good light here. I had her name picked out since July. So a little Ashanti, and she was born. She's 5 pounds 14 ounces, 19 inches long. Born at 38 weeks and 1 day. She was tiny, and had she been 2 ounces smaller, she would have been considered preemie. But because she's 5 pounds 14 ounces, she was almost 6 pounds. So yeah, it was an amazing experience. I did push for 2 hours. So it wasn't just, I couldn't count the pushes, but there was lots of pressure. The epidural didn't take the pain off for that. And when what hurt most coming out was not the head, it was her shoulders. Good God. And so I had 2 stitches. They're dissolvable, so they're probably gone by now. I don't know. 2 stitches put in. They did Pitocin to after she came out. So I got put on. It was so weird. I saw the bag of Pitocin. I'm like, what do I need this for? She's already out. I think it's to expel everything. But by the time they were trying to put the Pitocin in my IV, because I had been pushing and gripping the bar on the side of the hospital bed, my IV had popped out. And so, yeah. That was another experience of trying to get the second IV put in. But after I gave birth to her, they brought me in food, water. My parents stayed with me, and while they cleaned her, actually they cleaned her up, put a hat on her. My mom and dad got to hold her. And my dad was there, yes. And we're not, I know it sounds kind of weird. It's a weird concept to me too. But the hospital we were in is new. They just opened up a new maternity wing in August where all the rooms are private. And they had 2 curtains, one at the door, and then there's a window in a bed area, and there's a window, bed, and bathroom area, and there's a curtain that blocks off the bed to that area. So the curtain was up when my parents were both in the room. So both curtains were up, actually. So even when the doctors were coming in, they couldn't see me immediately. I was giving birth privately. My parents were just there. There's a veil, the very thick one. And so nothing was seen. Nothing I could regret was seen. And it was actually very special to me to have my parents there because my child's father, her dad, was not there. And I ended up messaging him after she was born because, I just didn't want him to interrupt the birthing process. And so he knows about her, and he's like nervous about it. He's a first-time dad. I'm a first-time mom. This whole experience has been nerve-wracking for the both of us. It's very emotional. Let me just say that for he and I, this whole baby, new time, first-time parents thing has been emotional, and that's been for the whole 4 weeks we've been home. He and I have been talking, and it's like we're both in our feelings because we're parents now, and everything's changed, everything's different. So there's my birth story. Baby is now, she had her 2-week appointment on the 16th of January. I'm not gonna look at a calendar right now. She had her first appointment, and she was 6 pounds 12 ounces, so she had gained almost a whole pound, and she was 20 inches long. The doctor said that instead of having a little round sweet pea of a baby, I have a long carrot. So the reason why she's so her weight is so low is because she's very long, and it's true. She's only 4 weeks now, but she's fitting into 3-month clothes. Like, she cannot wear newborn. 0 to 3 months it's not worth it to buy. So she's already in 3-month clothing, and she's 4 weeks old. So yeah, she's gonna be a very tall little girl, and she's big. She's big. So yeah, she had her 2-week appointment. I have another appointment coming up for her. I want to get her ears pierced when she hits 3 months, and other little stuff, that mommy and daughter stuff. I'll say that the pregnancy, labor, and delivery were very, very emotional. Okay, so here she is. She woke up and she heard me. Oh, it won't let me. Here she is. Baby Ashanti. It won't let me do. Okay. There she's so long. So long. 3-month-old onesie. So, like I was saying, this whole experience of giving birth, there she is, and being a first time mom has been emotional. And maybe it's more emotional because of the infertility, but her dad's not infertile, and it's getting to him too. So it's a first time parent thing, on top of being beating quote unquote infertility. So yeah, she goes. She needs her bottle. So anyway, thanks for watching. Like I said, last appointment 2 weeks ago, she was 6 pounds 12. She would gain an ounce a day. So she's probably about 8 pounds now. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll update again and as soon as I can.